So time management, how do we manage our time? You are going to have some unanswered questions. It's very likely. Okay. Now, if you are doing the hour per column method, it's very hard to leave some unanswered and stop and then move to the next column and flip to your exam booklet. You got to picture this now. Remember, be visual and rehearse it. That little timer goes off, you reset it, and you figure out, okay, question 31, I got to turn to question 31 in the booklet and start that second hour. Not that you're going to get graded on each column, but it'll again give you that momentum, that really push in. It's optional if you want to do it this way. That's what I recommend. And you're going to have time to come back and try and answer those ones that are unanswered, because it's 5 hours and 40 minutes. So if you're doing 1 hour per column, you still have 40 minutes left over. And then you might find in another column, you'll go so quick, you have time left over. You actually got them all done within the hour. Go back to the ones in the other columns you didn't finish. The purpose of it is to get your speed up, okay? Because you want to be able to read all of the questions, okay? Now, because you can get 45 wrong, this is what I recommend you do. Assess each question as you go to answer it. And if it's an easy one, answer it right away. If it's one that you know for you're particularly have problems with, or it just scares you, rate it real quick, 1 dot, 2 dot. 1 is medium, 2 dots is really hard. And move on, skip it. And you're doing this in your exam grid, next to the numbers 1 through 30, 31 through 60, okay? And just a light dot. You can erase stray marks at the end of the exam. Okay, don't put it near the bubbles, put it to the left of the number, okay? Because that's your map. That scan form is your map. You don't want to put it in the booklet, because then you have to flip through it, okay? And it's a comfort level thing. You have to trust yourself that you can do this, and that's why you practice, ahead. And then move on to the next one. And what that'll do is all the easy ones will be answered, because remember, each question has the same value. A quickie medical terminology question carries as much weight as a, cardiac cath, longish report one, okay? Don't overthink or read into a question. How many here are overthinkers? Yeah, probably all of you if you're really being honest. Coders really, they think, well, they're tricking me. They're trying to trick me, Oh, I know this procedure. We do it in my office all the time, and it's this, that, and now you're dipping into reimbursement knowledge. Okay? Deal with the facts that are right in front of you, and that's it. Whatever, and remember, it's a scenario, or what I call a blip or a blurb. It's not a full note, oftentimes. Sometimes you get an op report that's a full op report, but normally it's a scenario. Mrs. Smith came to see Dr. Jones. She'd been here 2 years ago, da-da-da-da-da. Well, that's not how a real note reads, right? So whatever they tell you in the note, if they tell you it was a complicated yada, 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 and you go, that doesn't sound complicated to me. They're trying to trick me. That's really limited. That's not complicated. Or you're overthinking it. You're shooting yourself. If they tell you the word, the buzzword in the blip, take it. That's a gift, okay? Take what they give you. Don't overthink it. And that will come through when you're doing your practice tests. If you're an overthinker, and you'll go, what? So, what? But I thought, I was overthinking it. And you'll start training yourself to not overthink. So when you go to sit for the real exam, you'll catch yourself doing that, okay? And remember, your job is to pick the best of the possible answers. You aren't taking a scenario, ignoring the answers, trying to code it, and see if your code you got matches one of the answers. You don't have that kind of time. You need to look up the answers and then go read the scenario. I mean, except for maybe some medical terminology questions or whatever. But once you know what the differences are between the answers, you know what to abstract for in the scenario, right? Because you're nervous and you're taking the test and you're reading everything, and everything seems important. And you're circling and underlining and highlighting everything. And then you go look at the answers like, oh, they're really testing me on the difference between A and B. And you go look at, oh, it's A, it's right here. So if you keep that in mind, that your job is to pick the best of the 4 possible answers, the answers are key. That's really what you want to start with. That's going to help you know what guideline they're testing you on, okay? Okay, so here's a method. It's the multiple passes method. We talked about the 1 hour per column. So if you cycle through the whole exam, forget about the 1 hour per column thing. Just go through the whole exam and answer all of the easy ones. Use the 1 dot, 2 dot for the ones that you're going to leave behind. Okay. Then on the second pass, you're gonna. What do you think you're going to focus on? The 1 dot. You're going to go for the medium hard ones, right? And you're going to answer as many of those as you can. Then on the third pass, you're going to do those 2 dot ones until you run out of time. Okay? And then that way you are increasing your chances of success, and you're leaving those 45 wrong ones for the really hard ones. Okay? A lot of people do have time left over, and you can go back and check some work. But as you've probably heard, your first gut reaction to what the answer is probably right. And if you're just going back because you have extra time and you're checking, don't do that. But if you had one that you really want to go back and check, put a check mark on your answer grid next to that question number. So you don't waste time and start changing things that were already right. Ones that you're like, I'm just truly not sure, and I've got it narrowed down to answer A and C. But I got to come back and work it a little bit, but I want to move on. I want to keep my speed going. Okay? Which, by the way, if you've narrowed it down to 2, which you probably will, what I do on the answer grid is I just do a light pencil mark through the 2 that I think are the possibly correct answers. So when I'm at the very end, I got 5 minutes left, and you want to fill in any empty ones. You never want to leave any blank because you got a 25% chance of getting it right, right? If you've narrowed it down to 2, we'll pick one of the 2 and erase the stray mark on the other bubble. So now you got a 50-50 chance of getting it right because you've already thrown out the 2 wrong answers. Okay?
Get more CPC exam tips, coding certification training, and CEU credits. Go to www.codingcertification.org.